We're here on the Renishaw stand at the BIEMH show, and Paul is going to take us on a tour of their new and latest technology.
Do you remember when we went to Renishaw in Miskin?
Yeah.
Miskin? We talked about the Renishaw Central, didn't we? That
Yes.
it was all about the star machines, the Equator machines, and how everything was fed back to the central, which is Renishaw Central. That's very much what this stand is showcasing as well.
Almost like a control centre of everything, so it pulls all of the data together. It's when we talked so many years about Internet of Things and Industry 4.0, we're there and it's happening. So what have they got on the stand then?
Okay, well, this is their additive manufacturing machine. Now, this isn't a new machine, but there's some new software on this. Let's go and have a look at this part to start with here. This is an assembly of like a drone, essentially. But as with any part that's made these days, what they try and do is remove as much weight as they can from these parts, improve the structures, and that's part of the process that they're actually illustrating here on the stand this week, how to manufacture this almost like from start to finish. So that's kind of, I guess, that's part of where the additive does come in. And if you take this machine here, this is obviously responsible for printing of some of those parts. And those parts being here. This is like for, let's just read this here. Can you read that better than me? Because I need my glasses. I've left them at home today.
Dissipado. Or dissipate.
Dissipate.
Well, it's in Spanish, Paul.
Yeah. So, but what's interesting here, and what I learned this morning about the additive manufacturing software that they use, it's all about the support structures. So obviously when you print things from the base up, if we bring the camera back to here, it's getting carried away with it in the machine there, but if we bring it back to here, you look at the support structures here where all the components are built from. The critical thing when you're printing things is those. And the software that Renishaw have now introduced means that they need less support structures for the parts.
Ah, okay.
Now you might think that a support structure is purely just to take the weight of the component and support the part, but it's not. It's also about dissipating the heat when you're actually printing, because that's really important for the structure of the parts too. And by reducing the amount of support structures you need and using their software cleverly, it enables them to reduce the support structures but still dissipate the heat to get the, the credibility of the part.
I mean, if I'm honest, the only reason I thought there was mainly support structures is when you're building to create an individual. Yeah, so you did think the same. Yeah, okay.
And here is where they're printing the bodies as well, which we saw there. So again, this is a part, and you're obviously trying to reduce the amount of support structures on these. Because when you reduce the amount of support structures, you're not only doing what we just said there, but of course it takes less time to print. It's less material.
Yes.
There's less post-process as well, which is really important. So those three factors alone are also beneficial to having less support structures.
If I'm honest, I didn't really absorb and understand
what I just said.
No, no, not that. Yeah. No, what I mean is understand how much goes into printing and additive. I was thinking about the final component. I've always thought about that, and there's so many benefits with that, but I've never really thought and understood why you need that support structure. So thank you for explaining that. There's a lot of technicalities behind it.
Now, if we
Fabulous.
go to this. So we all know the Renishaw Equator.
You've got to see this though. Just look at this. It does look very futuristic, almost alien-esque in terms of its design. Why is it designed like this?
Well, the Equator. The honest answer to that question is I'm not sure why the outside's been designed in the way it has.
But what about if you're in a very high tolerance environment and then you don't want external? It could be
factors. Yeah. I mean, the Renishaw Equator in its traditional form is a comparator. So you've got a part and then you're comparing parts to that part. The next step with the Equator-X here is it's more of a CMM, so it's actually measuring the component as well. It's just a small CMM. So this is being introduced here at the show as well. So and more new innovation from Renishaw. And then when you look then at a normal kind of traditional CMM, this is what we can see. This is what we can see here. God, the cameraman's a bit slow today, isn't he? But this is what you can see here. This is what Renishaw are obviously known for as well, the Renishaw agility. But the whole, and then if we move this way on the stand,
Cameraman is a little bit slow today.
we've now got obviously a DN Solutions links machine here, subspindle machine, being fed with a robot, and this is from one of their partners, Del Teco, here in Spain. You've got an Equator on the end. But I suppose the reason I wanted to come here is because then all of this goes back to where we started this conversation. So if we move towards the centre of the stand, and we look at
the lighting on the floor.
The lighting on the floor, what this is indicating is that everything is going back.
I don't know if it's the cameraman slow or Paul's a bit quick today.
So everything's going back here then to your Renishaw Central. So all of the data from all of these processes and machinery is all going back into the Renishaw Central here. Now what they're actually demonstrating here at the event as well is they've got partners around the show that aren't actually located here physically on the stand, but the information from their machinery and their processes is coming back to this central system as well. So it's allowing them to see parts that are being manufactured, whether they're being kept in tolerance, and if they're not, then they can make alterations to the processes. And all of that information and data is being fed back here to Renishaw Central.
And is this easy? Is it easy to implement into a machine shop now? You know, if you've invested in all of the external equipment, how easy is it to get to this level?
Really easy, really easy. I mean, it's not only easy; it's imperative now. I think because how can you know what you're doing is right continuously without systems like this presenting the data? And how much do you need to intervene to change those things if you are doing things incorrectly, which is a waste of resource and a waste of time and a waste of money, essentially. So it's very, very easy to implement. And it also doesn't matter because we've seen a demonstration of you've got different types of machines. You've got the DN Solutions, they've got the Granite machine over there. They've got stuff on the Mazak stand here as well. So it doesn't matter what machinery you're doing, what automation you've got, all can be fed into the Renishaw Central system. And that's what they're really demonstrating here.
Fabulous. Thank you, Paul. Now what happens here? We're in Spain, we're at BIEMH. What happens? Because it's not like what we're normally used to back in the UK.
No, well, the guys just said here that they brought way too much beer to this event than they expected, and they've asked us to participate in helping them get rid of it.
Will you have a problem with that?
Not at all.
Thanks, Paul.